Ladies and gentlemen, this is the BAMA Standard, your number one source for Alabama football and Alabama legends. We are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I'm your host, over-the-hill powerlifter and Bama grad, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is an all-SEC legend and a man who's back from 2 weeks of vacation, Mr. Marvin Constant. Senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Mr. Stephen M. Smith. Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
Marvin's back. Marvin's back on vacation. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, sometimes you just got to go recharge, unwind.
Hey, Marvin, how was Cabo? Marvin?
No, Cabo, that's the November trip. We were actually in Cofresi, Dominican Republic this time. And
Okay.
And then Cartagena's coming up soon, too. I know, man. We be all over the place. You got to enjoy life, though.
You do?
And based on those videos, brother, you did just that. So glad to have you back.
Hey, it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Hey, man, because Marvin, Joseph tried to ruin the show last week.
He probably was on here fanboying out as usual, asking for autographs and selfies. He over there taking pictures like nobody can even see that, Joseph.
We actually had to turn off his screen a couple of times.
I can believe it.
Well, guys, I know y'all are excited. I'm very excited myself because of the guests we have on tonight. Marvin, I tell you what, since you were one of the best to ever play the game at your position, I'll give you the honor of introducing one of the best ever at the University of Alabama. Would you mind doing that honor?
Listen, as much as I want to do this, I don't feel like I'm going to give him the justice he deserves. So I'm going to deflect to the one person who might need their inhaler to do this, because I know he's been itching to do this for a while.
True that.
Will you do the honors? Because nobody would do it like you, brother.
Best hype man in the business.
Exactly.
I. Okay, here we go.
Take a puff. Breathe now.
I've already done it. He comes from literally the man that built the Alabama football program. We're talking about Mr. Paul W. Bear Bryant. We're looking at a multiple All-American. The man that has us with Will Anderson right now, but he was the man way before Will Anderson even got here. I am referring to the one and only fastest outside linebacker that will knock your face off your body, Mr. E.J. the Killer Jr.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the intro. I don't know if I was all that, but okay.
Hold on. I got to tell you one thing, though. When I was my freshman year at Alabama, I don't know if you went back to Alabama in the 90s or not, but you know how they had all those pictures on the wall in the weight room?
Oh, yeah.
I would always see your picture on the wall in the weight room, and I was like, these are the guys that I'm striving to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I think about everything, I grew up with at a period of time when they were changing a lot of things. They were just few blacks had started attending the University of Alabama. So when I look at guys like Sylvester Croom, Wilbur Jackson, Sylvester, John Mitchell, Calvin Cutler. I mean, you're talking about some guys who, Woodrow Lowe. I remember my first scrimmage. Mr. Meadows, who's our equipment guy, gave me number 47. And I said, no, don't you give me this bad boy. I said, give me something else. He says, you don't like 47? I'm like, this is Woodrow Lowe's number. See, I knew my history too. I'm like, this is a 3-time All-American. You're not going to put me in this. You want me to live up to Woodrow Lowe? No. So they ended up giving me 39, and Byron Braggs ended up wearing 47. I was like, man, that was too much heat to put on a young man at that time. Talking about giving me 47, Woodrow Lowe's number. Like,
you knew.
That was a bad man.
You knew, man. You knew.
Yeah.
I learned my Alabama history early.
So my only question is, when they closed that weight room, well, when they remodeled it, did they give y'all those pictures they had on the wall? Because those were some amazing pictures that they had on that wall in that old weight room.
You know what? They probably are. Mine was probably still in the archives because I haven't received anything from there. I've been back several times. When I was the head coach at Central State, we would come back and actually practice at the university when we would play Stillman down the street. So Mal was the athletic director, and we practiced on the game field one time, and we actually did a practice in the indoor facility that they built because it had changed. That indoor practice facility was not there when I was there. It was actually part of the track. And, the facility that's there now as the football facilities was still part of the football fields. We had 3 football fields that went out to the turf. And part of that was also the tennis courts. So all that is brand new.
Well, it was there when I was in school. And just when you thought you was going to get out of practice because it was lightning and bad weather, to the indoor. God, no safety. Just go get tortured somewhere else.
And one of those guys leading the torture was your former teammate, Coach TJ, Terry Jones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Big T. We called him Big T. Now T was a senior when I was a freshman. So here's some stories about him.
Oh,
we're going into the season, and they decided to move Terry to defense. Because, and Terry was an All-American center himself. They were moving him to nose tackle because they felt that he could possibly be a better defensive player. You know why? Because there was a young pup coming up named Dwight Stevenson who was taking his place.
Yeah.
And there were some wars between me and Dwight. I don't know if you ever had those 3-on-3 drills, but we used to have a 3-on-3 drill. And usually your defensive ends would line up over the tackles or a tight end. Your nose tackles or D tackles would line up over the nose or the guards or whoever. So me with my crazy self, I jumped in the middle over Dwight Stevenson, defensive end. And the first time, Dwight, you had Tony Nathan, you had Mitch Ferguson, and you had Lou Eichner in the backfield. So they were going to give one of them the ball. I made a quick move on Dwight, and I just nailed, Mitch Ferguson. And so Dwight was all pissed off. So he gets mad. He looks at me. I can see the tension in his hands. And I'm going to pull that same quick move. I'm going to swim him and just beat him. Next thing I know, I'm about 15 yards going the other way on my back. And I was about to do it the third time. And Coach Bryant looked down. He says, why in the hell do I have a defensive end over a center? Get EJ out of that. And I looked at Sly and said, thank you.
That sounded about like Chris Samuels when I was weighing Chris Samuels out. He wanted to repeat it. Man, just take your losses. Then every time they repeat it, they want to try to rough you up. Like, you know what we're doing now? Don't try to rough me up now.
Well, guys, just joining us is our long-lost teammate, Mr. Steve Brown. Glad to have you back, brother.
What up, guys? Coming to the game, baby.
What's going on? Oh, shut.
You tearing up lights and stuff over there. Wait, you coming in already tearing up stuff.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get myself together. Hey, Marvin, how was your honeymoon, man? I know I saw you the pictures of Moody Swamp that you posted.
Really, Moody Swamp? I want you to remember that. Nah, it was good, man. We had a great trip, great time, man. What I say, you couldn't ask for more, man. The staff were at the house we rented was phenomenal. It was amazing.
It was cool. I saw it, man. It seemed like y'all had a lot of fun.
Oh, we did, man. I don't want to come back home, man. They got me learning Spanish now, man, because
I get it. I'm glad to be back, guys. I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you home. Well, guys, before we dive deep into it, let's go ahead and get our first segment out of the way, and that's our favorite segment, and that's Constant Chaos, where Marvin gives his unfiltered views on what's going on either with Alabama, the world, or what's pissed him off this week. Marvin, you've been away 2 weeks, man. What you got on the plate?
Well, this isn't what pissed me off. It's actually hilarious to me. In the state of Georgia, when you're looking at sports, whether it's Tom Brady and the Patriots coming back from 28-3 to defeat the Falcons in the Super Bowl, or Alabama coming back against Georgia multiple times, The state of Georgia sports teams are trash. So to see people around here celebrating this Game 7 win over Philadelphia like they didn't won the whole thing in the NBA, listen here, man. When Milwaukee put that ooh-wee on them, it's going to put them right back in their place. So for me, the chaos is, why are y'all celebrating winning a game to get to the conference finals? You hadn't won nothing yet. The state of Georgia sports are trash, man. Trash.
Hey, man. I was thinking the same thing. They celebrating like they won it all. I'm like, man, what are y'all doing? You know what? Right. And then I'll put my Alabama shirt on and start talking to them like, y'all act like y'all been there before.
Steve, they already working on the Trae Young statue, bro.
That's right.
they already doing it.
Listen, they just made it to the conference finals, and y'all in the streets partying for that. Like, y'all that excited about going to the conference finals? You hadn't won anything. What? They over here in the streets partying like it's like they really done something.
Yeah.
Hey, some teams win championships. Other teams get excited for being runners up. And that's Georgia team.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand something. When is the last time a major sports team has won something here besides the Braves? You got to go back to 1980. 1980. Falcons have never done it. Georgia did it in 1980.
And only because
I remember that. I remember that because I think I was in the 7th grade twice. I remember that.
And it's only because EJ graduated and headed to the NFL.
I remember that.
Well, fellas, let's go ahead and dive right into the reason why we're here, and that's to honor this great man who's already given us a few tidbits of the past, so and dive right into the thick of it. So, EJ, if you would, man, talk to us about your recruiting. What was it like having Bear Bryant in your living room, and did it take much for him to sell you on Alabama?
Well, it all really started with a phone call. I was getting a lot of interest from various schools. I mean, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, so I'm right down the street from Vanderbilt. My dad was a vice president at Tennessee State, so there were a lot of colleges, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Southern Cal, the University of Tennessee. So I'm doing homework because it was during the basketball season. We had a game going on that night that was going to happen that night. And I was doing homework, and I get a call. My mother answers the phone, and she says, EJ, this is Coach Bear Bryant's on the phone. I'm like, I don't want to talk to that man, because that was during a period of time where George Wallace had stood on the steps of the president's house, and he says, no black man will ever walk on this campus. And I'm like, I don't want to go to that racist school. That was my view of Alabama. Mm-hmm. So my mother, being a principal, you know how black women can look over their glasses and talk through their teeth? My mother looked over her glasses. She says, you're going to talk to this man. And I said, okay, I'll get on the phone. So I got on the phone with Coach Bryant. He says, EJ, this is Coach Bear Bryant. I said, hello, Coach. How you doing? He says, I'm doing pretty good. I know you've heard some good things about the University of Alabama, and I know you've heard some bad things about the University of Alabama, but I'm going to promise you 2 things. I'm like, what's that, Coach? He says, you come to Alabama, you're going to get a quality education. And I'm thinking in my head, I can get a quality education anywhere. And I said, so what's the second thing, Coach? He says, if you come to Alabama, I'm going to work your tail off. And I just hesitated. I'm like, wow, this is challenging my work ethic. So I keep talking, Coach. So we started talking, and he said that, there were some things that he would like to see me do, and he's going to send a recruiter. And the recruiter who was going to be my personal recruiter was Coach Ken Donahue. Now, Coach Ken Donahue, I will tell you, and I'm going to still live by this. I know Coach Saban has some great coaches, but there's the best defensive coordinator that's ever coached college football is Coach Ken Donahue. There was not a defense that when we walked on the field that we couldn't stop their offense.
You mean even better than Pete Golden?
Huh?
Even better than Pete Golding?
Hey, better. Better. I mean, that was not an offense that we could not stop. You know, the only team that basically we had two teams that have ever had really good success against that defense, and they just basically had better talent, and that was Southern Cal when they had Charles White my sophomore year, and Nebraska my freshman year when they had Iam Hip and Rick Burns. But other than that, we could shut people down. And I mean, no matter what game it was, we were going to give you a battle on defense. Now, our offense was a slow, move the ball, move the chains type offense. So, we got a chance to rest or substitute. But Coach Ken Donahue was a hell of a defensive coordinator. And we ran basically what they call a 5-2, which is nothing but a 3-4 defense now.
So tell me something. So what do you think of Bama's last season's defense? Here we go. It
was a really good defense. I mean, it really was. But then you have to understand, the game has changed. Okay, everybody's throwing the heck out of the ball. I mean, I've been a defensive coordinator. Spread offenses are going to put strains on your defense. You got to have 4 good guys in the front, come off the ball to create havoc, but you got to have some dudes in the secondary. Your linebackers want to thump people, but when they don't get a chance to, you don't get a chance to stop the run as much because what? Everybody's throwing zone pops, zone bubbles, going vertical. Because when you look at the 4 wide receivers Alabama had last year, would you really want to run the ball with those 4 guys you had? No, but you can run because you want to, and that's always been Alabama's philosophy. You run because you want to. You throw it if you have to.
Well, let me ask you.
They have the talent to do both. So it's kind of hard to shut down the offense these days because they make it geared towards the offense. Why? Because you can't jam receivers down the field. You can't hit the quarterback. You got to take the skirts off of them because if you do, you're gonna get a personal foul. Believe me, I would have been thrown out of a lot of games for helmet-to-helmet contact because that's all I did was helmet-to-helmet contact.
Well, let me ask you this as a former defensive coordinator. If you have a decent secondary, but you can't get any pressure up front, are you going to continue to run man-to-man coverage?
No, I'm going to run some zone man concepts. So I mean, I'm gonna take away your best receivers. Why? Because if I'm not worried about the threat of the run, I'm gonna have some guys like my son who's gonna be playing at UC. He's a cross between a linebacker DB hybrid, and like I said, he has more speed than I do. That joker can cover a wide receiver. I've seen him do it. So double him with a backer who can cover. If you got those type of guys, and basically let those 4 guys run games, chew up the run.
Yeah, but that was one of the issues that we worked with last year. In a lot of cases, we ran so much man-to-man and we weren't getting pressure, so we were giving quarterbacks all day to throw the ball. Everybody knows if you're going to play a lot of man-to-man, you got to have people up front getting that ball out of that quarterback's hand. You give him to throw all day, I don't care how good the DBs are, nobody can cover all day. You got to have people up front to get the ball out. And that's what we struggled with. And, I mean, and it really showed against Ole Miss. It really showed against Florida, So I'm interested in seeing how much pressure we're able to generate next year and if we're going to still run as much man-to-man. Because, again, you can't have one without the other.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. We've always had issues shutting down Ole Miss's offense. I don't care, even when I played, we beat John Forcade and then when he was a quarterback, we beat them 59-35. They scored 35 points on our defense, and that was unheard of back in the day. If you look at some of the games in the past, even when they had the Land Sharks, Ole Miss puts up a lot of points. And I don't know if it's because of a throwing type quarterback that Alabama has issues with, because if that quarterback can run just as well as he can throw, that's always been an issue versus Alabama's defenses. Why? Because your defense is geared to stop 10 people. But when you have a running quarterback, that's the 11th person that you have to take into account in that your scheme, and you have to count that person as a threat.
I mean, I hear all that, but I'm still going to say our defense was suspect at times last year. And I think
it was.
With our defensive coordinator. I don't understand how he got a $250,000 raise.
Wait, hold on, Marvin.
Hold on. Of all the options available at defensive coordinator, why do we bring this man back? His previous 2-year stint at defensive coordinator have been trash. So why do we bring him back for a third one and give him a $250,000 raise?
Well, Marvin, let me say this. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but I had a meeting with him.
He did.
I had a meeting.
Did you pick his
I told him he got 2 games. He got 2 games to get it together. Then if he can't get it together, we're gonna call my man EJ. Now look, so
yes, sir.
Hey,
yeah, so I got my flip phone on speed dial. I'm gonna hit you up now. But look, we're gonna move you down back to Tuscaloosa. You can even bring both them lamps behind you. You can bring them lamps. And we go, I don't like them. But
bring that in the Bear Bryant Payne Leroy by Leroy Neiman and okay. All right, I'll bring all that.
Bring it all. We need all of
it. Now, seriously, you know, he promised that it's gonna be a whole different ball game because you gotta understand something. We got 9 returning starters. Okay, so that should mean something. Everybody should know the scheme, but you got to understand something. Marvin, you saw it. I saw it too. Some of those plays, he was just calling some flat out stupid plays. That's just what it is. And I told him. I mean, that's when I got escorted off the facility. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah. I got escorted.
Listen, it was times when he was on the sideline flipping a quarter to decide what he was going to call. It didn't make any sense. Like, why?
Guys, now you still got to remember, you know who the main defensive coordinator is.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change. Now you have to wait a minute. And I'm gonna go there. Yes, the D-line was not as good as it been because when you think about the year before, how many guys they lost off that defensive line? How many guys you lost off that front 7?
But we lose guys every year though.
Huh?
We lose guys every year though.
You lose guys every year, but does the talent that you're always replacing that might not grow into where they're supposed to be until mid-year or towards the end of the year? You cannot get ready for SEC football unless you play. Believe me, I had my baptism my freshman year. The older I got, the better I got. Too. Okay, so you didn't jump out there the first game and grade 92%.
No, but I do got that freshman All-American, that freshman All-SEC black sitting right there.
I had a couple
of those. I had those too.
I had those too.
That was at Tuscaloosa County. That was at Tuscaloosa. That's why they got a mural of you. That was at Tuscaloosa County, Marvin. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh man, you went to Tuscaloosa County. You didn't go to Druid City High? No, I'm just kidding.
I went to Central. Don't listen to Steve. That's foolishness. I'm a graduate of Central High School.
Well, you're a graduate of Central High. Okay, I'm not gonna be mad at you. You still wore red and black all your life. I get it.
Although it's funny that I'm on Tuscaloosa County High School's Wall of Fame and never played them. I'm on their wall. Somebody sent me that picture, and I was like, "How do I end up on their wall?" My rival high school got me on their Wall of Fame.
I'm not gonna go where it could be. Is it that they had so many good plays against you that they just said, "Well, we're gonna put them on the wall."
That's it.
I'm just saying. You put you on the Wall of Fame because you gave up that many yards or something. What?
See. That's when I was starting to like you. See, that's what
you can't give an old man that kind of opening, and you know I'm gonna step through the door. They put you on the wall as bulletin board material, man. So
yes, sir. I like having
recommendations behind it.
All right. So to answer your question, I owned them. I worked them over. I think my last game of high school was against them. I think I had like 26 tackles that game.
Oh, that's awesome.
I owned them.
I think they put you on that wall so you wouldn't come back for real.
I think, yeah.
That might be right.
Yeah,
That's
26
just like
tackles. I think they
you probably,
did.
you
Yeah,
probably got a chance to go to the one of them all you can eat buffets, and you ate so much they said we just pay you to just leave.
Yeah.
That happened to me, Braggs, and Lawrence Taylor at the East West Shrine. Believe me, they did. I'm playing in the East West Shrine game with Lawrence Taylor, Byron Braggs. You got Jose Taylor from Houston. You got Frank Warren from Auburn. So we go to this all-you-can-eat barbecue rib place. And we had at least about 15 plates of ribs. And they says, guys, we're not trying to be rude or anything, but you all can have this meal free if y'all just leave. Okay, all right, so we're out. And we go from there to a bowling alley. Now, this is how I knew that Lawrence Taylor was going to be the first linebacker taken in the 1981 draft. Lawrence Taylor was an All-American nose tackle from North Carolina. He picks up a 16-pound ball. No big deal about that. He looks at it. He throws it down the lane. Now, the ball does not touch that lane until it's halfway down the lane. It bounces twice, hits the first pin, shatters it. All the other pins fly out the way, and it hits that back end. And it knocked it down. That wouldn't have been unusual, except he did it 3 straight times.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, my, we're going to get out of here because they're going to throw us out of here. And we started calling him brute strength. But in that game, we had 11 sacks against Neil Lomax. LT had 4 sacks in the first quarter and didn't play beyond that because he sprained his ankle. And they said, well, who's the baddest linebacker? Is it Hugh Green? Is it you? I said, I don't know about Hugh. I know Hugh and I know me. I said, but that cat from North Carolina, that joke is a beast. Mm-hmm. And I said, he'll be the first linebacker taken, and the rest is history because that was a dude, man.
So y'all done got kicked out of the real place and the bowling alley.
Yep. Hey,
you just can't take us anywhere.
They don't even go together. They don't even go together.
Hey, how you get kicked out of an all-you-can-eat though? That's what y'all was putting in some work in there, boy.
That's impressive.
Hey. I mean, it was a group of us. Like I said, you had Lawrence Taylor, you had Amos Lawrence, played running back. You had Ricky Jackson, LT, me, Frank. I mean, we went in there, we started eating ribs, and hey, can you bring out another plate? Just keep them coming. And guys, we know it's all you can eat, but if y'all leave, y'all can have these meals free. And I know it had to be over. It had to be over a couple of $100.
That's what I was about to say. Y'all ate a whole hog for him out there.
That's a shame.
You know what? The bad thing about it, they still weren't as good as Dreamlands.
Hey,
I believe that.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. If they'd took their blood pressure, all them would have been on. Blood pressure went through the roof. Eating all that.
They couldn't even play.
No. Well, besides shutting down rib joints, Coach Kroom said you were one of the most versatile players he'd ever seen. You were a great technician, had great feet, and could virtually do anything. You actually remind me a lot of Will Anderson. What made you such a complete player?
I think it's because when I grew up, my parents always said, no matter where you play, just do it to the best of your ability. So I played a little bit in high school. I played a little bit of running back and safety. I wanted to be an offensive lineman because I like those big neck rolls they had, and you can pick that big grill on your face. And I want to hit people. I love hitting people. I'd rather be the hitter than the hittee. So I don't know how those running backs do it. Eddie and all those. I don't know how they do it. But when by the end of my career, I was a middle linebacker playing tight end. So when I came to Alabama, I knew there were 6 All-Americans already there. You had Dewey Mitchell, you had Rich Wingo, you had Barry Krause, you had Ricky Gillian. They brought in the kid from Georgia named Randy Scott. So we had some ballers, and I wasn't afraid of competition. So my first time getting a chance to be in a scrimmage, I hit our best fullback, which was named Johnny Davis. Now, if anybody knows Johnny Davis, he was nothing but a bowling ball who weighed 238 pounds. He probably was 1% body fat, if that's possible, because there was no fat on that joker. And I hit him. We used to call it 75-8. They ran beer too, which was the wishbone. And I nailed him in the hole for a 1-yard gain. And I'm like, this is your All-American. So now I'm already talking smack as a freshman. And JD looks up at me and he says, Coach, give me the ball. And I looked at Coach down and he said, we're going to run the same defense, Coach. I go hit JD again. He got 1 yard. I'm like, man, this is the All-American? Man, this is kind of got easy. The third time Bull buckles up that fourth chin strap. He go, nah, got in that 3-point stand, start wiggling that butt. All I remember was seeing the training room. Because he knocked me to slap out.
Wow.
And when I looked at Coach Goosetree, who was our trainer, Coach Goosetree was like the penguin on Batman. He says, Hyman, do you know where you are? I said, yeah, Coach, I'm in the training room. He says, you kind of knocked yourself out trying to hit Bull. I said, how many yards did you get? He said, 1 yard. I'm like, dang, still couldn't stop him for throwing for a loss. And that was the part about Bull. Nobody ever threw him for a loss, but they got Coach Bryant's attention that he knew I wasn't afraid to hit anybody. So they moved me to tight end. They moved me to running back. They moved me to free safety. Actually, the spring of my freshman year, I played strong safety. And after the spring game, Coach Bryant said we got to move him closer to the action because we were running a lot of cover too, and I wanted to come downhill a lot. Right. And you can't have your half safety coming down trying to make tackles on the line of scrimmage because that's so. But I think I had the speed, I had the knowledge. I love the game, and if you taught me the game, I could play anywhere. The only place I wouldn't want to play is quarterback.
Wow. And you know, it's funny, Justin, you mentioned Will Anderson. I like Will Anderson, and Will Anderson has a high motor, and I think he's going to be pretty cool. But I want y'all to understand, in my opinion, Will Anderson is not the standard, not yet. You still got Derek Thomas's, you got Cornelius Bennett's, you got all that. So Will Anderson is far from being the standard right now. So I just had to throw that out there. I like Will, but I like Will. Will doing his thing. He's young, but he ain't the standard. I mean, I would like to see another Derek Thomas come through or another Cornelius Bennett. You know, I don't want to see another Marvin. I don't want to see another Marvin or Constant. I don't want to see that.
Well, I will say there's a commonality in those other two guys that you were talking about when you're talking about Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas. A young man named Sylvester Kroom, who was an All-American center from Tuscaloosa, was my teacher. He was a rookie coach when I was a freshman, and we grew together. And I trusted everything he was trying to teach me. So when it came to being a technician, I knew he was a technician. So he taught me the game of playing defensive end. And we just had our recent vote for the College Football Hall of Fame for the 2022 class. And I saw his name on the list. He is on that 2022 list of possible nominees. And I voted him because he should have been in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame before me.
A long time ago.
He got in just last year during the pandemic, and I was so glad because I kept nominating him for the last 5 years. But this man coached 6 back-to-back All-Americans because everybody remembers me, but they forget that Wayne Hamilton was an All-American before me. And then it was me, Mike Pitts, Emmanuel King. Before Biscuit came, and then after Biscuit was Derek Thomas. So this man coached 6 back-to-back All-Americans.
Well, the thing, but see, the problem is the reason when you came along, we kind of forgot about the rest of them, and then after you, we picked back up. So I mean, that's how good you were, you know. See, that's a sentiment to you. So because I don't remember the rest of them, I know I remember you. You know.
Now my thing was, what made Coach Kroom so great as just a teacher? What sold y'all on Coach Kroom as he could get y'all to believe in what y'all were doing?
He looked like he whooped ass. That's what it is.
You think about when you go back and look at the coaching staff. Go back and look at the coaching staff that Coach Bryant had. Sylvester Kroom is the only black coach on that staff. Yeah. And when you're a young black man, you're looking at people who look like you. And, you know, even though they had a lot of guys playing different positions, I trusted him because He had already been there. I'm walking on his shoulders. He's been through the ups and downs and the things that the trials and tribulations of the going through the integration process. It wasn't as bad for me as it was for them. So I trusted everything that came out of that man's mouth. And he told me going into my last year, he says, if you want to be, he says, do you think you want to be a number one draft choice? I said, of what? I wasn't even thinking about the NFL. All I wanted to do is win another championship. We had already won 2. We got ripped off from the first one. And I wanted to win win a third one. And I trusted everything that he said because he was a teacher. He was everything, when you talk to his dad, Sylvester Sr., he was a model citizen who basically was a spiritual mentor to us, as well as a family member in a sense. So when Sylvester would speak, he shot straight from the hip. He and Coach Doc, they shot straight from the hip. If they tell you if you were doing right, and they definitely would tell you if you were messing up. And they had remedies for getting you straight.
Now,
and the first thing they would do is call your parents.
Now
I'd rather for them to call the police than call my parents.
I played football for his brother Kevin Kroom at Central. And when I tell you, he was one of the nicest men I've ever known, not to put me in the game. I still remember that. I ain't never get in the game, but he was just so nice. He just
and I always want, and you speak volumes about it. I always wondered what kind of player Kelvin would have been had he not torn up his knee. And I mean, his knee injury was so bad that it had nerve damage, so that ended his career. Yeah, I heard that he was just as much of a baller as Sylvester was.
But the thing is, I have never been told to sit on the bench so respectfully. I've never. I mean, usually coaches be like, "Get your ass back," or "Sit down somewhere brown," or "Put your helmet on the right way." He just he'd be like, "Steve, will you just sit on the bench, please?" How many quarters, Coach? All 4, if you don't mind. All 4. I'd be like, "Cool, no problem."
Well, Steve, when you pull a hamstring putting your game pants on, what you expect gonna happen?
As a matter of fact, Coach Kroom was so nice. He knew I wasn't gonna play. He let me dress out of my dress shoes. I'm like, okay, Coach. So picture me in a Central Falcon jersey on with some black Stacey Adams.
Yeah. You know them with no Stacey Adams. You know they had some
Justin, reel him in, Justin. Reel him in, Justin. Reel back in.
Silently, I'm praying for him as I'm hearing all this.
Yeah, man, I was that dude.
Oh goodness.
At one time, John Copeland was on here, and he talked about the difficulties of facing so many superstars in practice that by the time the game came rolling around, the game was much easier than practice. You practiced against some dudes, Ozzie Newsome, Major Ogilvy, Tony Nathan, Dwight Stevenson, you mentioned earlier. How much easier was it in the actual games?
A lot easier, because when you talk about lining up, first of all, you're lining up against the wishbone, so everybody's trying to catch you every week. We had these practice uniforms called Zook suits. Okay, picture a baseball catcher. You know the equipment that the baseball catcher. Okay.
Yeah.
We had that for football. From you had padding up here, you had them on your legs. So that's to protect your legs and things from when you get cut by those running backs coming off the edge. Well, Tony Nathan, Lou Eichner, Mitch Ferguson, all those guys were great at cutting. We used to do drills, and Coach Crew would work us on drills, and I got very good at avoiding getting cut. So if those guys couldn't cut me, and that's all we did all the time, nobody else could. But then you have to understand, our offensive line, Jim Bunce, Bob Carter, who was a number 1 draft choice, we had Dwight Stevenson. We had some dudes who were on the offensive line. Tim Travis, most people don't know about Tim Travis and Rick Neal, our tight ends, but we had Bart Prout out of Birmingham. It was a game-type situation. And when people talk about Coach Bryant, there's this one saying that I will never, ever forget. He always said, I can take mine and beat yours, and I can take yours and beat mine. That's a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
My senior year, we go to play Wichita State and Brian Denny. And he started the second team offense and the second team defense in that game. And I'm going, okay. We're going to get out here and play. By the end of the first quarter, it was 17-0. We hadn't touched the field. Wow. And I looked at Sly, I'm like, are we going to get a chance to play? He says, no, the old man's just doing something. We're looking like, okay, if we don't play, you don't get training table. If you don't get training table, you don't get to eat steak and lobster. You got to grade out to make training table. So he finally walked, and he finally puts us in. I'm running out on the field because Mike Pitts started for me. And so I run out there, and the tight end is about 6'5", 250. Pretty good, big guy. I'm looking at him like, okay. He said, woo, it's going to get a lot easier now. I said, what do you mean? He said, man, that EJ Jr. is a bad cat. I said, no, bro, I'm EJ Jr. That was my backup. and I had to go make up some sacks and everything. I mean, it was a good game. But the thing is that when you see other guys who can go possibly start and take your job, it was a war. Our practices were wars because when we got in the game, gut check, the Penn State goal line stand, gut check, it was an unlimited play. Gut check is an unlimited scrimmage until Coach Bryant got tired. I went through 2 of those my freshman year during the spring. And the second one was after I had been playing strong safety, and he moved me back to defensive end. And I got in that scrimmage, and we were practicing, and we got to about 100 plays, and my jersey got ripped off. So I went to the sideline to go get another jersey, but all we had was second team jerseys, which was called H's, which were blue. So Coach Brown says, give me the second team. I want everybody I just told to go back out there. So I'm going back out there. I tell John Knox to get out because I'm hearing everybody that I just called go back in there. So I go back in there. Now I'm dying because I'm already tired. And I look up and he says, give me the first team offense back out there. So now you got the second team defense versus first team offense. And I'm dying, man. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. So I look at Mel, I'm like, man, y'all gonna kind of run at them poor boys over there. Run at me. So it was like a 4th and 1 situation. I tackled Lou White by my fingertips. I mean, I was so tired I couldn't even hold on to him. It was about 125 plays in on the scrimmage. And Coach Brown said, 125 plays in.
So EJ, let me ask you a question. Do you think we can go and get a lawsuit going? You know, like the commercials on TV. If you practice more than 125 plays, call this number. You know,
you would really like to, but I mean that was just basic. Now you had some breaks in there, but it was still mental toughness because Coach Bryant got excited about that, and he said, hell, I got me another EJ Jr. And Sylvester looked and said, Coach, that is EJ. He said, hell, I thought I took him out after 75 plays.
So
I'll tell you what, after that, I wanted to quit.
So EJ, so what you telling me is y'all practice more than I got in the damn game. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Hey, when they said our practices were harder than games, that's a true statement. That's a true statement. Because, like I said, I wanted to quit after that practice. That scrimmage, I went in the locker room, I threw my stuff off. I said, I'm quitting. I said, because I didn't come here for that. The old man's trying to embarrass me. He's trying to make me look bad. And Malmore walks into the locker room. And he says, the old man wants to see you upstairs. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Do they got those Walmart cameras in the locker room? So I'm sure he saw that tirade.
EJ, you talking about you want to quit after that game? That don't impress me. I want to quit after every game. Look,
That about right, Steve. That about right, Steve. That about right.
Them steak dinners before the game, it kept me tight. It kept me there. Them steak dinners before the game, it kept me there.
EJ, how much blood was on the field after that practice?
How much what?
How much blood was on the field?
Let's put it this way: you'd be really concerned about COVID if it was in today's date. But And you didn't, but when you were playing, you didn't think about it. Really, back, that's that old school day. They would sometimes give you ice over water. There was a day that we had one of those practices where everybody was just practicing real bad, and Coach Bryant said, "All right, everybody just take off running." Now, I'm sure you have
Wow.
been in one of those months. Everybody just take off running.
Yep.
So we
So
started running.
back in the day, if you got hurt, they stayed icing you down. But I ain't gonna lie, when the team I played on, I ain't never had no ice because every time I sat on the bench, I just eat it all. I ain't had nothing else to do.
Coach Bryant made everybody run,
yeah,
including the trainers and the coaches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. That's how bad the practice was. He made everybody run, including the coaches and the trainers.
Even the dog? Wow. The dog had to run too?
If there was a dog out there, he was running too.
I heard Coach Donahue could outrun some of you guys.
Oh, yeah. Now, you brought some flashbacks.
Yeah, please talk about that.
Our off-season conditioning program. Now, y'all had it easy, Mark. I'm telling you right now, y'all had it easy.
No.
We had the two, I guess, best people who could get you in shape. Coach Jim Goosetree and Coach Ken Donahue. Because we had a campus run. We had a short run course, a medium course, and a long course. And Coach Donahue, I swear he trained for marathons. Because he would run with us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He would run with us on those distance. The short course would take you from the Coliseum. You go down what used to be the old fraternity road, where they now have You come back around Gordon Palmer, and you came back to the facility. The medium course is going all the way down past the fraternity road, go all the way down to Ferguson. You come up by the other buildings. Back to the long course would take you all the way down to the Black Warrior River.
Oh!
Come back up Ferguson, around the other side, come past the English buildings, the communication center, and then you pass Tutwiler, and then you had a leper. Coach Donahue would be in the back now, and he always would be saying, "Don't let me beat you. Don't let me beat you. You need to get up there with the front." And the two people who always be the front runners were Marty Lyons, who's already a 6'5", 250-pound defensive end who can run. That joker can run all day. And Coach Donahue was in the back. And don't let him catch you. The worst part of conditioning was being in the lower gym with Coach Jim Goosetree. In the lower gym of the Coliseum, we would do our off-season.
Yeah.
And he walked in the first day, I remember like it was yesterday. "Gentlemen, my name is Coach Jim Goosetree. For those who don't know it by now, and this is the Alabama Off-Season Conditioning Program. If you look in the corner of the lower gym, you see 4 giant trash cans. And inside those 4 giant trash cans are 4 giant trash bags. That's for you who can't make it through the first 15 minutes. So, gentlemen, we're going to run and run and run and run until you puke. We're going to let you catch your breath, wipe your mouth, then we're going to run some more. Our first exercise is called the Big 21. That's 21 sit-ups, 21 push-ups, and 21 burpees. That's squat thrust for those who don't know what that is. Okay? So right now, I want you to do 21 push-ups. Let's hit the ground. Up, 1, up, 2, hold it. Travis ain't doing it. And if you mess up, you had to start all over. That was the first exercise. Because you did 21, 19, 17, 15. You dropped down to 11. You went down to 9. You then went back and did the 13. Then you did 7, 5, 3, and 1. And you could not mess up. You talking about mental toughness? Guys, by the time you get down to 11, your arms are shaking on the push-ups. Your abs are cramping from the sit-ups. And you don't know, you forgot what a squat thrust was. If I could just get off the ground, I was doing good.
See, but let me tell you something though. Our strength coach was Big T.
Oh,
yeah.
You know where he got all that stuff from?
Exactly. So everything that you're talking about, I got to experience and then some. I will never forget. We used to have to go out a little bit after lunchtime and run. I'll never forget. We had to run 36 110s. You had to run every one of them, though. You had 12 seconds to run them. You had 15
seconds to get back.
Wow. You know what? What made me Now you kind of brought back memories when you said, fraternity row, because I ain't gonna tell you, I used to get jumped on all the time on fraternity row. Yeah, so yeah.
But I
Yeah.
will say though, Big T, he made us earn it though. So all the stuff you talking about, I know about it first hand.
So you had a vivid flashback.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we would go in the indoor facility. They had the trash cans throughout the indoor for those who were gonna puke it up. And Big T loved that damn Big 21. Oh my God. He loved that damn Big 21. And I think he applied that on almost every lift. I think Big 21 was applied to everything. Like, come on, man.
But I tell you what, at first when you didn't think you could do it, but then after a while, your mental toughness came through doing that drill, because if you could survive that, the rest of it was downhill.
I didn't have any problems during the off-season program and training. I was thankful, coming out of Central, that we were more than prepared. I left high school benching 460, squatting over 600 pounds, in great shape. So, for me, it was just, okay, let's just do it and get it over with. But a lot of them other dudes, they were struggling.
Well, AJ, I can't have this show without talking about one of the most famous games in Alabama history, and that's the game against Penn State. Our defense was put on the map. I mean, not that it didn't need to be already. I mean, y'all are just phenomenal. But if you would, talk about that game and talk about that famous goal line stand, if you would.
That's so simple. You heard me talk about that 125 play gut check.
Yes.
That's why we call it gut check. Because
hold on. Before you get started talking about the second most famous goal line stand in Alabama history, only behind mine. Okay.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did y'all bring a national championship?
Wait a minute,
Did y'all bring a national championship?
Marvin, I love you like a brother. I do. Both of them Tuscaloosa. But are you talking about the goal line stand when half the defense tore their ACLs? That one?
Did you dye half of your beard white?
Yeah. hey, hold on, Marvin.
We talking about the goal line stand, man.
Your goal line stand was pretty dope, but the one against Penn State, that will go down in history forever. So I will put the Penn State goal line stand a little bit over yours, because yours was hot. Now I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's dope.
So I put it a little bit over yours. You know what I'm saying? So
I can respect that.
They got potential. Okay.
I got potential.
No, but we're going on in the fourth quarter. Vicino throws a pass, and Dom McNeil, who was a great player, made the hit of the game, because he knocks the wide receiver out at the 2-yard line.
He came from the other side of the camera.
He wasn't even supposed to be covering that guy. He was covering on the other side of the field when the ball was thrown, and he makes a heck of a play. If he doesn't make that play, there is no goal line stand. So he knocks Fiske out at the one. No, actually it was the 1-yard line. So now it's 1st and goal, and we stop them on first down, the second down. It gets to the third down. They keep trying to go over the middle, and it gets down to 4th down. So Penn State calls a timeout. So during the timeout, Fusina is talking to Marty Lyons, and Marty looks at him and says, "I think you better pass." And we were anticipating that they're gonna run. He says, "But I think you better pass." So he comes back to the huddle, and he looks at Barry Krause, and he says, "Guys, this ain't nothing but an old-fashioned gut check. You remember all those plays that we've had in the scrimmages, those 125, 130 play scrimmages?" He said, "This is easy." I said, "Are you tired? No. Are you tired? No." He says, "We gotta lay it out on the line. This is like Coach Bryant. This is what we've been prepared for. This is nothing but a gut check." And they decided they were gonna run. Now, had they thrown, they would have scored. I really do believe that they had thrown, because we sold out on the run. Great penetration by Byron Braggs, McGriff, David Hanna, Marty Lyons, Barry Krause, and Rich Wingo go over the top. I'm coming from the outside. And you got Ricky Tucker and I can think of Murray Legs, safety. I mean, they're all in the mix. And it was a heck of a hit by Barry Cross. He pinched the nerve in his neck on the play, but you know, I thought he had knocked himself unconscious, but he had pinched the nerve in his neck. But it was one of the greatest stands, and we found the next day that we were national champions. So just because of what we did in that spring, that mattered. So people always talk about, well, you know, you get ready during the season. No, everything is done in that spring. What you do in the off-season conditioning program, all that running, all that thing, that's when it matters. And you know, like Mr. Constant will tell you, making those plays are because everybody trusts what everybody else is doing. They're doing their job. And, you know, I'm blessed to be able to go into the College Football Hall of Fame officially this year. I've been inducted last year, but those ceremonies this year. But me going into the Hall of Fame is not because of me. There are 4 classes of people at Alabama that I played with that could easily be in the Hall of Fame. You know, I got coaches, I got administrators, you know, Gary White, the athletic directors we've had, the teachers, the people who used to feed us in the dining room, the professors who basically made us, you know, they are part of this award. It's not just a me award. I'm just getting the credit for what all those guys did for 4 years. You know, Ozzie Newsome, a Hall of Famer. You know, Barry Krause to me is a Hall of Famer. Martin Lyons a Hall of Famer. Major Ogilvy, Byron Brack. There's so many guys, I can't name them all. I was just good because everybody made me look good. Believe me. And that's what this award is for. It's for those guys who I played with those 4 years who made me who I was. But this award is for them and not just me.
Well, be glad you didn't play with Steve Brown, because you'd have been having.
Tell you what, if you had to play
body
with me,
body blow.
if you had to play with me, you would have had some of the nicest dress shoes in the city. I tell you that much.
And a candy necklace.
Right.
Clean Stacey Adams, boy. Clean Stacey Adams.
Well, before we go into our next segment, I got to ask this. You know, your block punt against Missouri in '78, changed the flow of the game. Your interception against Nebraska, and then you picked off 59-yard pick six against Georgia Tech in '79. But to you, what was your favorite or best moment of your career?
Ooh. You know, people would say that 59-yard touchdown, but I still would say the greatest play that I always epitomize is me chasing down the pitch against Nebraska and intercepting the pitch from the backside. Because when I told my kids that, he said, "You chase down an option from the backside and intercepted the pitch." I said, "Yes." He said, "You ain't that fast," and I had to go find it on YouTube to prove a point. That I actually ran down the quarterback, you know, coming from the backside. The wing back was actually the pitch guy. So I'm actually running parallel with him, but I was about to hit the quarterback. And I always still got slide in my ear and says, "Stay deepest to deepest." Well, that means I have to be on the pitch man. So I changed my course to get to the pitch man. The quarterback looks and he pitches it. And then he looked again and said, "Where did he come from?" And I intercepted it. The bad part is that I was trying to get my footing and I slipped. Should have been a touchdown, but it was a great play.
You had to have on some Stacey Adams. See what I mean?
That was the difference.
That's because I had on Chuck Taylors instead of Adidas, but that's another story. But I was, you know, everybody, you know, I saw a question show up earlier. And said, "What did I think about the old man?" The old man was a father figure. He was a mentor. He was a coach. He was a philosopher who taught us life. He didn't teach us football. He taught us life and how life, you know, football basically teaches you life. And I knew he had to be mellowing because my senior year was the first year Alabama wore white shoes. And playing in the Cotton Bowl that year was the first time Alabama had their names on the back of their jerseys. Yeah. So I knew he had to be mellowing for us to wear white shoes because Bragg says, "Junior, what do you know is different about the locker room?" And I'm looking. And I couldn't tell, but we had gotten white Nikes with BAMA on the back of them. And I say, the old man is mellowing. Maybe that's why we ended up losing 2 games that season. I don't know. But he was a great man to play for. I still revere him to this day. God rest his soul. I wouldn't be half the man I was if it wasn't for him and Sylvester Croom, Ken Donahue, Brother Oliver. Those guys who taught us how to be men on the field, but learn how to be class off the field.
I tell you what, though, I'll never forget the day Coach Bryant passed. The whole city of Tuscaloosa shut down. Let kids out of school and everything. I was like, man, I thought that when they called us to the office, I thought I was suspended again. I'm like, wait a minute. They're like, no,
come get him. Go get him. Please go get Steve. Just go get him.
There's no
real talk. No real talk. And the thing is, when he passed away, they let us out of school, and my retarded behind, I go to school the next week. I'm like, well, okay, man. So who else important gonna pass away? I'm ready to get out of here. Oh my God.
On that note, let's go ahead and transition to our final segment, and that's the depth chart with Stephen M. Smith, where he gives us the latest on the Crimson Tide. Things are starting to heat up in summer workouts with 7-on-7. Stephen, what you got for us?
I mean, everybody's doing good. They're doing good. Got the wide receiver from Ohio State, Jamison Williams, the transfer. He's tearing it up out there. I think behind Mechie, he may be number 2, which that will push Slade Bowen to number 3. And then there's a fight for number 4. You got a lot of freshmen fighting for number 4. So the Jamison Williams kid, he's fast, he's quick, he's explosive. Really like that guy. Behind him, JoJo Earl, one of the freshmen. He is quick, twitchy. That's a special talent. JoJo Earl, to me, right now, at least, should start on kickoff, return, and punt return. So JoJo Earl's really good. He is really good. And then,
which one of y'all over there watching the Golden Girls?
Hey man, I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's not me.
You know he's a big Blanche fan.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Steve. The man lost his train of thought.
But JoJo Earl is really good. Now, after Earl, I got a chance to look at the defensive side of the ball. Now, defensively, Saban right now, he's rotating Christian Harris, Henry To'oTo'o, and Jalen Moody. He's rotating all 3 of those guys inside. We know Christian Harris is going to start. He's going to start. But between To'oTo'o and Moody, there's where the leverage comes in, because you can start Moody and spot play To'oTo'o, or you can start To'oTo'o and spot play Moody. It just depends on how we're going to do that. But all 3 of those guys are getting a look. In the secondary, Josh Jobe and Jalen Armour-Davis, they're holding down both corner spots. Kool-Aid's going to play. Kool-Aid will play, but Armour-Davis and Jobe are holding down both corner spots. And as of right now, Steve, your boy Brian Robinson, he's a killer right now. He's a killer.
I told you.
He is a bona fide killer. I think right now, he and Jace McClellan are jocking for number 1. They jocking hard. He and Jace McClellan.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I like on the defensive side, I'm still pulling for Moody. I'm pulling for Moody. I understand.
Now, Steve, I think the best thing here is with Moody, you can start Moody with Moody being a senior. You can spot play To'oTo'o because Henry still has another year.
Here's my question.
Hey, the reason I'm gonna say this. This To'oTo'o kid, I understand. I heard a lot about him. That's cool, but he's a transfer from Tennessee. He don't have that Bama blood yet. Moody got that Bama blood. He came in Bama. To'oTo'o, he got to be proven. He got to prove himself.
Steve, here's the thing. They brought the wrong person from Tennessee, though. They should have brought Jeremy Pruitt back as a damn defensive coordinator.
See, Marvin. See, we told Jeremy Pruitt not to make the move. He did this on himself.
Well, it ain't too late to bring him back because
That's
Pete
true.
is trash.
That's
Pete
true.
Well, let me say this. Marvin, while you was posting all them naked pictures of yourself on your honeymoon, I had the privilege. Justin, you saw it. I sent them to you first.
I saw it.
I got a chance to talk to the coaches. Hey, Steven, did you see the pictures?
I saw it.
I seen you pickpocket Pete Golden. You still got it wallet?
I got rings over here. I got rings, and you know, me and Coach Saban had a one-on-one, a come to Jesus meeting, and he's like, you know what, man, you know, don't put this on. What did you see, Justin? What did I have on?
I saw the infamous straw hat, the practice hat.
Hey,
It looked good.
Steve. Now, Steve,
Yeah.
I also saw you talking to DJ Dale.
Yeah, talking to everybody, man. They you know, and they told me in the nicest way, never come in there again. I'm like,
Like Kelvin Croom did when you played for him.
yeah.
But on a serious note, though, Steve, like Brian Robinson hungry for real. That man is hungry for real, and it's gonna be for running back one. Him and Jace, they jockey for that. I think fall camp's gonna be fun, man, between them two.
But you know what? But I'm gonna tell you something. I do, Marvin. I don't know if you heard the word on the streets, but I feel a little disrespected because Miami has gotten all these transfers. Everybody's now thinking that Miami's gonna be able to hang with us, and I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
What you mean, hang their jerseys up in their locker? Is that the form of hanging you talking about?
EJ, have you heard any of this trash about they think Miami might be able to compete?
No, I'm glad I hadn't heard that. It's bad enough being up here in Ohio State country. But
Look,
You my
every time I hear something about
God bless you,
Ohio State,
EJ.
I'm like,
God
okay.
bless you, man. I hate that for you, brother. I hate that.
EJ, you in Columbus?
No, I'm just above Cincinnati and Middletown.
Okay, all right.
No, but no, I anywhere. So my son is going. I got my youngest son going to the University of Cincinnati with Luke Fickle, and I think he's going to be a baller. You know, he didn't get recruited by any of the SEC schools, so I think he's going to try to make an impact.
Hold on. Is he coming in this year?
He's a freshman this year.
And what position he play?
210.
One of my good friends, Derek Shepard, his son, I think is Lil Shep coming in this year or next year? So yeah, he's going to Cincinnati too. So I told him I was coming up there to Cincinnati. So I'm gonna have to come check you out when I come up there.
Oh, come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus. Come on.
Well, my oldest son, he got a offer to come to DeVry. He gonna be oh, y'all talking about football. I didn't know y'all talking about football. So I thought y'all talking about just regular school, but don't worry about it.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and transition into our closing segment. And like we do every week, we like to get an update on Marvin's book, how it's doing, the lives is changing, and Marvin, if you would also throw in the book signing that's going to be taking place at the Galleria.
Oh, yeah. So the book's doing well. You know, you want a copy, you can go to 40plusstrong.com. That's 40plusstrong.com. I'll be down at the SEC Media Days at the Galleria at Bumper Nets doing an autograph signing. And we're also getting ready to unveil a new product. I've been testing it out. Hadn't had a chance to really use it like I needed to because I've been gone for the last, I don't know how long on vacation. But my new testosterone supplement for 40 plus, baby. Woo!
That's what's up.
Getting ready to drop it. For all y'all that need a little bit of extra testosterone in your life, don't walk around with man boobs and have your old lady looking at dudes on TV fantasizing. It can be you.
Hey, Marvin.
I was about to embarrass you, Marvin. I mean, you still in your youngster, but 61. I'm still yoked, bro.
Hey, Marvin.
I'm still yoked, bro. I don't need the supplement to be yoked.
Yes.
That's right. Look, hey, look, and check this out. I got hands in my arms.
Well, Steve, we all know your right arm bigger than your left forearm.
Hey Marvin, I'm gonna tell
It's
you
been like
something.
that since you was in middle school, Steve.
As far as your testosterone boosters, if I just took a blue pill and I'm sucking on one like a peppermint right now. So
TMI.
so I just want you know.
Well, speaking of boosting, let's go ahead and boost your upcoming show, Steve, the Stardome in Birmingham, if you would. Give the folks who are in Birmingham some details, man. We got to.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm at the Comedy Club Stardome, July 30th, which is my birthday weekend. Well, the weekend after my birthday, because it's the 27th. But I'll be at the Comedy Club Stardome, July 30th through August 1st. Y'all need to get your tickets now, because my shows at the Stardome always sell out. So y'all come out, man. Check it out, man. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about Marvin's book. We're going to talk about Steven's glasses. We're going to talk about everything.
Yeah, we talk like this.
Yes.
That's right. Well, I have to let everybody know, please tune in next week. We have a big guest, co-creator and co-founder of SEC Shorts, Josh Sneed, will be joining the BAMA Standard. So you definitely want to check that out. Well, EJ, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's a tremendous honor and blessing. We really could have sat here for 2 more hours just talking to you. If you would, brother, give us some final words. If you're on social media like I found you, give the fans a way to contact you and tell us what's up next for you.
There's some opportunities I'm looking at. I haven't quite gotten it. I do a daily inspirational on Facebook. I'm still an ordained pastor, so when I lay hands on people, it might not always be spiritual, but I still try to touch people in a blessed way. But I could be found on Twitter at @EJunior_E on Facebook. I'm easily found on Facebook. But I hope to get a chance to come down to university, be recognized for the College Football Hall of Fame, and get down to a couple of Alabama games when I'm not trying to watch my son at UC. But I wish Bama Nation all the best. Much love. Thank you for having me on the show, guys. It's been great. I'm still trying to keep my ribs from busting over here from you guys, because y'all are off the chain.
Hey, what about your other social media platform? You ain't gonna give me your MySpace?
No, I'm too young for MySpace.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show tonight. If you have any questions for any of us, please email us, thebamastandard@gmail.com. Guys, great show. Enjoyed it. Y'all have a great night and roll tide.
Hey, y'all make sure y'all check me out on OnlyFans. Okay.